Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Vande Guru Nisha Bhakta Nisha Nisha Vatarakan Tat Prakasham Tat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Sanyakam Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Gaur Udaye Pushpavanatau Chitrau Sandau Tamunudau Granthiramabha Kori Mangalacharana Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tinera Smarana Hoya Bigana Vinashana Anayasa Safal Nijavanchita Purana Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashat Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Rupa Raghunatha Padayarasha, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kahe Krishna Dasa. Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Sri Chaitanya Caritamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 7, entitled Lord Chaitanya in 5 Features. So we have read till text number 102 yesterday. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked second question. The first question was primarily about why are you chanting, dancing, jumping up and down. The second question was primarily around why don't you study Vedanta, right? So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu slightly smiled. That's what we read yesterday. He smiled and he asked, my dear sirs, if you don't mind, can I say something regarding Vedanta philosophy? So basically taking a very, very humble uh, position, the Lord is showing how with great humility he is responding to Sri Akasha Nanda Saraswati. Okay. So without further delay, let's read text number 103. ইহা শুনি বলে সর্ব সন্ন্যাসীরা গণা তোমাকে দেখিয়া আইছে সাক্ষাৎ নারায়ণা. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hearing this, the Mayavadi sannyasis became somewhat humble and addressed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Narayana himself, who they all agreed he was. Purport. Mayavadi sannyasis address each other as Narayana. Whenever they see another sannyasi, they offer him respect by calling him Om Namo Narayanaya. I offer my respect unto you, Narayana. Although they know perfectly well what kind of Narayana he is. Narayana has 4 hands. But although they are puffed up with the idea of being Narayana, they cannot exhibit more than 2. Since their philosophy declares that Narayana and an ordinary human being are on the same level, they sometimes use the term Daridra Narayana, poor Narayana, which was invented by a so-called Swami who did not know anything about Vedanta philosophy. Therefore, although all these Mayavadi sannyasis who called themselves Narayana, were actually unaware of the position of Narayana. But due to their austerities, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enabled them to understand him to be Narayana himself. Although these Mayavadi sannyasis call themselves Narayana, were actually unaware of the position of Narayana. Due to their austerities, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enabled them to understand him to be Narayana himself. Lord Chaitanya is certainly the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana appearing as a devotee of Narayana. And thus, the Mayavadi sannyasis understanding that he was directly Narayana himself, whereas they were false, puffed up. Narayana spoke to him as follows. So the Lord revealed to them, as we are reading here, that he is the Supreme Narayana. But actually, the term here, Daridra Narayana, is also used. So even till date, actually, I was traveling in a train one time, and I saw, it was like a few people came, their seat was maybe a little bit around mine, and then everyone is offering obeisance to everyone, like the father-in-law touching the daughter-in-law's feet, the daughter-in-law touching father-in-law's feet, like everyone is touching everyone's feet. I was a little bit confused, like, so I mean, because and then when someone told me more, basically they follow this Mayavadi conception that everyone is God, or Aham Brahmasmi. I mean, Aham Brahmasmi can be explained in a Mayavadi context also. Right? That's what the Vedanta Sutra is fine. The aphorism, Vedic aphorism is fine, but it can be explained in a in a negative way, like Nirguna. The word Nirguna is used for the Supreme Lord, but what do the Mayavadis explain? Oh, he is the one who does not have any qualities. That means he is not a person. He doesn't have any qualities, etc. But that's not the real meaning of Nirguna. Nirguna means who does not have material qualities, who's not afflicted by this material energy. So the point here again, back to the word Narayana. So Mayavadis, they consider, oh, you are Narayan, I am Narayan, we are all Narayan. And then Prabhupada writes, then why don't you exhibit 4 hands, 5 hands, 6 hands? Narayana has the Supreme Lord. Narayana, but then they can't exhibit more than 2 hands. They can't show any. The Supreme Lord has so many unlimited power, strength, majesty, opulence, wealth, education, beauty. But they say Daridra Narayana. Prabhupada is using that word here, that some people say Narayana is poor, or seeing God in poor people. They're calling Daridra Narayana. Well, God is in everyone's heart. But that doesn't mean that he is poor. Thousands of Lakshmis are waiting to serve him. So in short, here they called him Narayana. The Mayavadi sannyasis called Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Narayana. And let's see what happens further. Text number 104. Anyone would like to read this? Give me a chance.
Can I?
Yes, Madhuri.
Hare Krishna, devotees, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Text 104. তোমার বচন শুনি জুড়ায় শ্রবণ, তোমার মাধুরী দেখি জুড়ায় নয়ন. Can you scroll up? Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Dear Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they said, to tell you the truth, We are greatly pleased to hear your words, and furthermore, your bodily features are so pleasing that we feel extraordinary satisfaction in seeing you. Purport. In the Shastras, it is said, Ataha Sri Krishna Namadi na bhaveta grahan indriyaha sevan mukhi he jiha badav swayam eva spurati yadaha. With one's materially contaminated senses, one cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead or His name, form, qualities, or paraphernalia. But if one renders service unto Him, the Lord reveals Himself. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.234. Here one can see the effect of the Mayavadi sannyasis' service towards Narayana, because the Mayavadis offered a little respect to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and because they were pious and actually followed the austere rules and regulations of sannyasa, they had some understanding of Vedanta philosophy, and by the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they could appreciate that he was none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is endowed with all six opulences. One of these opulences is his beauty. By his extraordinarily beautiful bodily features, the Mayavadi sannyasis recognized Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Narayana himself. He was not a farcical Narayana like the Daridra Narayanas invented by so-called sannyasis. So here the Mayavadi sannyasis realized as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and called him as Narayana from his bodily features. So the Supreme Lord's body is transcendental body. It's not an ordinary body. And by Lord's grace, by Lord's kripa, mercy, the Brahmana, that Mayavadi sannyasis, and they also have the Vedanta philosophy. That's what Prabhupada here in the purport explaining. Because of that knowledge, they able to realize Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Narayan. But also Prabhupada is mentioning here, this Narayan is different than the Daridra Narayan. Because Narayan is never be Daridra. Narayan has full of opulence. So, but people, so-called people, make the statement Daridra Narayan, which is totally wrong. That what Prabhupada is explaining here. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, back to you.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for reading this wonderful verse. So all these are basically, comments by the Mayavadi sannyasis. See, this is the power of Sangha of a pure Mahabhagavat Vaishnava. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Supreme Lord, but here is taking the role of a devotee. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Koi Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. So by Sangha of one sadhu here, in this case, and the Supreme Lord, their heart is getting transformed. They're feeling a sense of respect. They're feeling a sense of humility. They're addressing the Lord with the word Narayana. Even though they may not have that Supreme Lord mentality in their mind, but still, as we know, even a Jamil called Narayana as his son, he got benefit. So even yena kena prakarena, if someone chants the name Narayana, one will get benefit. There is absolutely no doubt in that, right? Whether they chant in mocking or ridiculing or criticizing or whatever way someone says Narayana, what to speak of the word Ram, right? If someone says, Krishna is so merciful, if someone says Raja Mahishi, right? So Krishna takes the Ra from Raja and Ma from Mahishi and makes it Ra. If someone says Haram, it is like a curse. Krishna is so merciful. He thinks, hey Ram. This is the power of the name. So now that does not mean that we chant in those aspects, the idea is that even if someone is chanting in those aspects, like indirectly or mockingly or criticizing, one will get benefit. Then why don't we chant in a devotional way? Yo me bhaktya prayachati, with bhakti. So in this verse, their heart is melting. We are greatly pleased to hear your words, right? And they are so happy. They're so happy that they're glorifying the features, right? Let's read the translation once again. They're greatly pleased, right? Tomara vachana shoni. By hearing your words, vachana, the speech, Judaya Shravana, we are satisfied by your speech. Tomara madhuri dekhi, your body, your lotus limbs are so nectarian, right? Judaya Nayana, our eyes are so satisfied. So this is Krishna, it's the power of bhakti. By seeing Krishna forms, our eyes are purified. Our eyes, this is like real, the thing which the eyes are looking for. By hearing Krishna's vachan, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Caitanya Caritamrita, Adi, this is the real stuff which the ears are looking for. The eyes which don't see the form of Krishna are basically, useless, actually, as per scriptures. The ears which do not hear the words of Krishna are like the snake holes, as per the Bhagavatam. The head which does not bow down at the lotus feet of Guru, Krishna, Vaishnavas, is only going to go to hell. The hands which do not serve deities, devotees, are good for nothing. The legs which do not go to the temple of the Lord are basically futile. So in short, the whole body, the ears, the eyes, they're all longing for Krishna. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavedra. And by doing so, bhakti naturally develops in our heart. Sevan mukhahi jivadu swayameva spurti. We naturally, swayame, by hearing Krishna's name form qualities, one naturally develops Krishna consciousness. So in short, we should engage our eyes, our ears, our tongue, our nose, right, by smelling the offerings, the nirmalya, by taking Krishna prasad, by bowing down to the deities, devotees, by hearing Krishna katha, Krishna vachana. Then our life will be so happy, so joyful. Hare Krishna. Any other comments, thoughts anyone has? Text 105. Yes, Shital Mataji, you have your hand raised. You want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam to all the devotees. तुम्हारा प्रभावे शबारा आनंदिता मना कभू असंगता नाहे तुम्हारा वचना. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Dear sir, by your influence, our minds are greatly satisfied, and we believe that your words will never be unreasonable. Therefore, you may speak on the Vedanta Sutra. Purport. In this verse, the words Tomara Prabhave, your influence, are very important. Unless one is spiritually advanced, he cannot influence an audience. Bhakti Vinod Thakur has sung Shuddha Bhakta Charana Renu Bhajana Anukula. Unless one associates with a pure devotee, he cannot be influenced to understand devotional service. These Mayavadi sannyasis were fortunate enough to meet the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of a devotee, and certainly they were greatly influenced by the Lord. They knew that since a perfectly advanced spiritualist never says anything false, all his words are reasonable and agree with the Vedic version. A highly realized person never says anything that has no meaning. Mayavadi philosophers claim to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and this has no meaning. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never uttered such nonsense. The Mayavadi sannyasis were convinced about his personality, and therefore they wanted to hear the purport of Vedanta philosophy from him. Hare Krishna, back to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for reading this. Do you have any comments or anything struck you in this? Okay, yeah, sure. So, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, do I have your permission to speak on the Vedanta Sutra? And here they're saying, by your influence, our minds are greatly satisfied. Previously, they said our eyes are satisfied, our ears are satisfied, our eyes are satisfied, our mind is satisfied. This is the power of Sangha. By the power of Sangha, by spiritual advancement. Purity is the force, as Prabhupada said. Shuddha Bhakta Charana Renu. I opened this bhajan. Bhajan Anukula Bhakata Seva Paramaseddhi Premalati Karamula. Yes, very nice bhajan by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The dust of the lotus feet of pure devotees. Shuddha Bhakta Charana Renu. Shuddha Bhakto ki Charana Renu. Renu means the dust of the Pada Renu. Pada means lotus feet. Enthusiastic devotional service and service to the pure devotees of the highest order are the roots of the creeper of devotion. Wow. 3 things are mentioned here. Shuddha Bhakta Charana is the foremost. As Prahlad Maharaj also says, until someone has submerged themselves in the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee, they cannot understand Krishna. And what does it really mean by dust? Does it mean the physical dust? Yes, it is certainly there. But million times more important, the dust of the lotus feet of a Shuddha Vaishnava means how sincerely are we following their instructions or words. Like how can we get Prabhupada's, Padarenu? How can we get the dust of the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada? Well, we can have Charan Paduka of Prabhupada's, and some temples have, some devotees have, and that is fine. Some people have deities or picture, can touch Prabhupada's lotus feet, and absolutely that will have a great value. There is absolutely no doubt there. But million times more important is how sincerely are we following Srila Prabhupada's instructions, what he wanted us to do. That is going to have much more impact. So, in short, Mayavadi sannyasis, by the power of the Sangha of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, their hearts, their minds started to change, right? And then Lord Chaitanya, their hearts basically opened up. They wanted to hear about the purport from him. Him means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So again, when the heart is open, then only the message will go. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with his humility, with his contact, with his purity, with his effulgence and everything, he opened up the heart. Now we will see what did he speak? How did he respond to question 2 of the Mayavadis? We have time, so we can read maybe 1 or 2 verses. Anyone would like to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can I read? Hare
Yes.
Krishna Prabhu. 106. Hare Krishna everyone. Prabhu kahi Vedanta Sutra Ishvara Vachana Vyasa Rupe Kailayaha Srinarayana. The Lord said, Vedanta philosophy consists of words spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, in the form of Vyasadeva. Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Vedanta Sutra, which consists of aphorisms revealing the method of understanding Vedic knowledge, is a concise form of all Vedic knowledge. It begins with the words Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now is the time to inquire about the absolute truth. The human form of life is specially meant for this purpose, and therefore the Vedanta Sutra very concisely explains the human mission. This is confirmed by the words of the Vayu and Skanda Purans, which define the sutra as follows. Apaksharam asadiktam sharavat vishvatu mukham astubham anavadyam cha sutram sutra vidu viduha. A sutra is a compilation of aphorisms that expresses the essence of all knowledge in a minimum of words. It must be universally applicable and faultless in its linguistic presentation. Anyone familiar with such sutras must be aware of the Vedanta Sutra, which is well known among scholars by the following additional names: Brahma Sutra, Shariraka, Vyas Sutra, Badaranayan Sutra, Uttara Namsha, and Vedanta Darshan. Can I read more, Prabhuji? I stop here, Prabhuji.
Yeah, it's a long purport, so anyone else wants to read next one or two paragraphs?
I can explain this
Yes, please,
one a bit if you want to. If you want to.
Sure, please.
Yes. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So here, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is among the sannyasis again, but they were still doubting who he could be, that great personality with his effulgence, with his golden type of body. They were, though they call themselves Narayana, this is how they address themselves, as we address ourselves, like Prabhu and Mataji. In their congregation, they call themselves Narayana. But they were particularly attracted by the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they are still wondering who he could be. So they were interested now to know about what he knows now, about the knowledge and all. And here they started, they wanted to know what is, when Prabhu explained about the Vedanta Sutra, they wanted to know more about that. And the Sutra is a compilation. That is the Sutra, the compilation of essential knowledge about all the sutras. There are different types of sutras. And I think Prabhuji is going to start one by one by explaining to the sannyasi. That's all, Prabhuji. Back to you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else wants to read?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I can read. Hare Krishna, devotees, Dandavat, Jai Srila Prabhupada. There are 4 chapters, adhyayas, in the Vedanta Sutra, and there are 4 divisions, padas, in each chapter. Therefore, the Vedanta Sutra may be referred to as Shorashopada, or 16 divisions of aphorisms. The theme of each and every division is fully described in terms of 5 different subject matters, Adhikaranas, which are technically called Pratigya, Hetu, Udaharana, Upanaya, and Nigamana. Every theme must necessarily be explained with reference to Pratigya or a solemn declaration of the purpose of the treatise. The solemn declaration given in the beginning of the Vedanta Sutra is Athato Brahma Jigyasa, which indicates that this book was written with the solemn declaration to inquire about the absolute truth. Similarly, reasons must be expressed, hetu. Examples must be given in terms of various facts, udaharana. The theme must gradually be brought nearer for understanding, upanaya. And finally, it must be supported by authoritative quotations from the Vedic Shastras, Nigamana. According to the great dictionary compiler, Hemachandra, also known as Koshakar, Vedanta refers to the purport of the Upanishads and the Brahmana portion of the Vedas. Professor Apti, in his dictionary, describes the Brahmana portion of the Vedas as that portion which states the rules for employment of hymns at various sacrifices and gives detailed explanations of their origin, sometimes with lengthy illustrations in the form of legends and stories. It is distinct from the mantra portion of the Vedas. Hemachandra says that the supplement of the Vedas is called the Vedanta Sutra. Veda means knowledge and Anta means the end. In other words, proper understanding of the ultimate purport of the Vedas is called Vedanta knowledge. Such knowledge, as given in the aphorisms of the Vedanta Sutra, must be supported by the Upanishads. According to learned scholars, there are three different sources of knowledge which are called Prasthanatraya. According to these scholars, Vedanta is one of such sources, for it presents Vedic knowledge on the basis of logic and sound arguments. In the Bhagavad Gita 13.5, the Lord says, Brahma Sutra Padais Chaiva Hetu Madbhir Vinishchita. Understanding of the ultimate goal of life is ascertained in the Brahma Sutra by legitimate logic and argument concerning cause and effect. Therefore, the Vedanta Sutra is known as Nyaya Prasthana, and the Upanishads are known as Shruti Prasthana, and the Gita, Mahabharata, and Puranas are known as Smriti Prasthana. All scientific knowledge of transcendence must be supported by Shruti, Smriti, and sound logical basis. Someone else wants to read?
Maybe, Prabhuji, since it's a highly technical verse, you want to share some thoughts for what you have read?
So, we understand that, there are like 16 divisions of those of aphorisms, and Prabhupada told us about that 4 divisions, the padas, and then those are again, initially there are 4 chapters, adhyayas, and there are 4 divisions in each chapters. So that was 16. So here, mainly discussed with 5 things. One is pratigya. Then pratigya is declaration. What is the purpose of learning the Veda? And then hetu. Hetu means reasoning. Like reasoning, like just I'm giving one example. Like when we see a rope, then we can say that, oh, it could be a snake. So it's kind of like a reasoning that snake is like a rope. It can be. So snake is there. Like those kind of like, so reasons are there that yes, snake is there. Then examples, udharana. I didn't understand that much about Upanaya, but my understanding from here looks like that it's going more towards ultimate, like Krishna, the Supreme Personality, says theme must gradually be brought nearer for understanding. And then finally, it must be supported by authoritative quotations from the Vedic Shastras, Nigama. Nigama is Vedic Shastras. And then the next part I understand, this important one thing is, like all the Upanishads, they are Shruti. There are 108 Upanishads there, like Ishopanishad, Kathopanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. We know few of them, but there are. Gita also is a Upanishad, but Gita is the Gita Upanishad is Sarvadugdha. I forgot that. Gopal Gabadugdha. Okay. So Mahabharata. Yes. So Mahabharata and Puranas, 18 Puranas are there. They are called Smriti, Shruti Smriti. And so if you remember yesterday, one sloka, Srila Rupa Goswami was saying that Shruti Smriti Puranadi. I mean, even Oikeantika Horir Bhakti, if we don't follow the Shrutis Smriti Puranadi, even we do Oikeantika Horir Bhakti, Utpadaiva Kalpate. Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatri Biding Bina. Oikeantika Horir Bhakti. Utpadaiva Kalpate. Yesterday, I think we read that, if you remember. So that's like, we need to know. But Prabhupada made it easy. He only asked us to read more like Ishopanishad mainly. And Purana is like Bhagavad Puranas. And in Mahabharata also, Prabhupada made that Gita is part of the Mahabharata. So that's what we are covering here. That's my little understanding, Prabhu. But you can elaborate or.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, Ravi Prabhuji, you want to read further?
Yes, Hare Krishna, all devotees, Srila Prabhupada. Are we reading from according, Prabhuji?
I think here, right?
It is said that
Okay,
both.
Yeah, okay. It is said that both the Vedic knowledge and the supplement of the Vedas, called the Sattvata Pancharatra, Sattvata Pancharatra emanated from the breathing of Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Vedanta Sutra aphorisms were compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, a powerful incarnation of Sri Narayan. Although it is sometimes said that they were compiled by a great sage named Apantaratma. The Pancharatra and Vedanta Sutra, however, express the same opinions. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore confirms that there is no difference in opinion between the two, and he declares that because the Vedanta Sutra was compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, it may be understood to have emanated from the breathing of Sri Narayan. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments that while Vyasadeva was compiling the Vedanta Sutra, 7 of his great saintly contemporaries were also engaged in similar work. These saints were Atreya Rishi, Ashamarthya, Audulami, Karshnajini, Kasakritsna, Jaimini, and Badari. In addition, it is stated that Parashari and Dharmandi Bhikshu also discussed the Vedanta Sutra aphorisms before Vyasadeva. As mentioned above, the Vedanta Sutra consists of 4 chapters. The first 2 chapters discuss the relationship of the living entity with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is known as Sambandha Gyan, or knowledge of the relationship. The third chapter describes how one can act in his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is called Abhideya Gyan. The relationship of the living entity with the Supreme Lord is described by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jivera Swarup Hoye Krishnera Nitya Das. The living entity is an eternal servant of Krishna, the Supreme God. Caitanya Caritamrita Madhya 20.108. Therefore, to act in that relationship, one must perform sadhana bhakti or the prescribed duties of service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is called Abhidheya Gyan. The fourth chapter describes the result of such devotional service, Paryojan Gyan. This ultimate goal of life is to go back home, back to Godhead. The words Anavritti Sabdat in the Vedanta Sutra indicate this ultimate goal. Should I continue, Prabhuji?
I think there's one last paragraph. Maybe Anita Mataji wants to read.
Sure.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam to all the devotees. Srila Vyasadeva, a powerful incarnation of Narayana, compiled the Vedanta Sutra, and in order to protect it from unauthorized commentaries, he personally composed Srimad Bhagavatam on the instruction of his spiritual master Narad Muni as the original commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. Besides Srimad Bhagavatam, there are commentaries on the Vedanta Sutra composed by all the major Vaishnava acharyas, and in each of them, devotional service to the Lord is described very explicitly. Only those who follow Sankara's commentary have described the Vedanta Sutra in an impersonal way, without reference to Vishnu Bhakti or devotional service to the Lord. Vishnu generally people very much appreciate this Sariraka Bhashya or impersonal description of the Vedanta Sutra. But all commentaries that are devoid of devotional service to Lord Vishnu must be considered to differ in purport from the original Vedanta Sutra. In other words, Lord Chaitanya definitely confirmed that the commentaries or bhashyas written by the Vaishnava acharyas on the basis of devotional service to Lord Vishnu and not the Sariraka Bhashya of Shankaracharya give the actual explanation of the Vedanta Sutra. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Sankirtan Prabhu, Ravi Prabhu, and Anita Mataji for reading this nice verse. It is pretty long and lengthy, and we may not be able to absorb everything, but it's often a good idea to recollect what we have understood or what we have read. So I would like everyone to share something you understood from this verse. And I'll just write it. Right? Something you learned, something you understood, something, okay, what we read almost like 2 pages, 3 pages. Anything, whether it could be a fact, it could be a lesson, it could be, or anything else also.
Prabhuji, can I go?
Yes.
I learned that there are 108 Upanishads.
Okay, very good. 108 Upanishads are there. What does the word Upanishad mean? Upanishad means to sit close and hear. Upanishad, like Upanayana. So Upanishad means to sit close and hear. It's generally like, tell a secret. So Gita Upanishad. And how many Puranas are there? 18 Puranas. Who is the compiler of all of them?
Srila Vedvyas.
Vedvyas Devji, who is literal incarnation of Swayam Krishna. Okay, very nice point. What else?
Prabhu, in that
Prabhuji,
connection,
the Vedanta. Sorry, go ahead, Prabhuji.
I just want to remember that sloka about Gita Upanishad. It says, Sharva Upanishado Gabo Dogda Gopala Nandana, Parthavatsha Sudhir Bhokta, Dugdha Gitamritang Mahat. So among all of the Upanishad, Gita Upanishad is the Sharva Upanishad.
Wonderful. So basically the analogy is given. It's one of the, no, actually this verse also is spoken by Shankaracharya actually. So, see, if we, at one point we are saying, ignore the words of Shankaracharya, right? That Sriraka Bhashya. But actually Prabhupada is quoting Shankaracharya's verse also, because Shankaracharya was like the bridge, you can say. So it's very interesting, role Shankaracharya played. Is the incarnation of Lord Shiva. So he came as a bridge between the impersonalist and to gradually, the shift cannot happen overnight or suddenly, right? So he gradually uprooted the people who are saying forget Vedas, forget everything. He established first the impersonalism or what's that? Chanda Mayavad. There is a verse also which says that Lord Shiva will come in the guise of a Mayavadi sannyasi to preach this message. But then later, the devotional acharyas like Ramanuja, Madhava, etc., they came. So this verse actually, which Prabhuji just quoted, and Prabhupada quotes that in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita in the introduction, that all these scriptures are like cow. What's the essence of cow? The milk. But the cow does not give milk until the milkman comes. So the milkman is Krishna. But first the calf drinks the milk. Partho Vatsa. Parth is the Vats or the calf. Sudhir Bhokta. Sudhira, one who has good intelligence, are the ones who are taking advantage of Gita. So thank you, Prabhuji, for sharing that. So I'll just put the analogy there. Cow in scriptures. Okay, what else? Any other points? Yes, Ravi Prabhu, you were making a point.
Yes, Prabhuji, what I read was that there are 4 chapters in the Vedanta.
Vedantas. So how many sections are there? 4. And how
4
many
chapters.
4 chapters, and each chapter is how many padas? 4 padas. So making it total 16 subparts. Right? Good. What is Vedanta? Vedanta is the conclusion of scriptures. What does the word sutra mean? Anyone?
Aphorisms.
Vedic aphorisms. Sutra is like condensed version. Any examples anyone would like to give? What's the first one, which everyone should know? What's the first sutra in the Vedanta Sutra?
The relation between
Atato Brahma Jignasha.
Yes. Atato Brahma Jignasha. I'm writing in the more phonetic way. So what does that mean? Who will tell? What does it mean? Atato Brahma Jigyasa.
who am I? The inquiry about who am I?
Inquiry about the absolute Brahma. The Brahma word could have 6 different meanings here, but generally is inquire about the absolute. So this life is meant to. Now this is, see, that's where the tough part comes. Now Mayavadis will interpret this into, now the confusion. Why confusion happened? Therefore, even Vedavyas was not happy after putting all these together, because he left room for people to misinterpret it. Right? After writing all the Vedas, all the Upanishads, all the Puranas, etc., he was not feeling that happiness, satisfaction. And then Narad Muni came and he gave him some feedback. He said, you have confused. Somewhere you are saying this is supreme, somewhere you are saying that is supreme. Vedas 99% are filled with material knowledge. People will read, and anyways, they don't have so much time and energy in Kali Yuga, right? Who has time? How many verses are there in the Vedas? Any guesses? About 400,000 verses. Can you imagine? Like Bhagavatam has 18,000. Multiply that. How many times, right? Let's say 20,000, right? So times 20. So there's a lot there, right? It's a lot to cover. People don't know the name of 4 Vedas, what to speak of what's inside. And what to speak of who knows the name of 18 Puranas. And then even in the 18 Puranas, someone will say, hey, it says you can eat flesh. Some Puranas say that. Somewhere it is said, hey, you can do this worship, that worship. Now, if someone will say, hey, Puranas say I can eat flesh, so I'm going to eat flesh. But Puranas are also, there are 666. 6 are for the people who are in the mode of goodness. 6 are for the people who are in the mode of passion. 6 are for the people in the mode of tamo or darkness, ignorance. Right? Like a doctor will give different medicine based on the condition of the patient. So the Puranas which are meant for the people in Tamoguna, a person who's already in Satoguna is not supposed to be reading that. It's not meant for him or her. But so it's in short hodgepodge, chaos. Therefore, he was not happy. Therefore, Nandmuni told him to write Srimad Bhagavatam. Nigama kalpatarur galitam phalam shukhamukhat amrita dravya samyutam pibat bhagavatam rasam alayam muhur aho rasika bhuvi bhavukah. Nigama kalpatam. It is the ripened fruit of all the Vedic scriptures. Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. So then he only wrote about the Supreme Lord Krishna. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural commentary by the author himself. If the author was not happy after putting all this together, how can we expect others to be happy? Right? Who knows the book better than the author? No one. Writing an article, reading an article may take 10 minutes, but writing an article may take hours. A small one-page article, right? So the author knows what the intent is, what the content is, why he is writing what he is writing. Okay, what else from this verse we learned? Or
the last part is very important.
yes, Prabhu.
So here, especially like Mahaprabhu came to teach that if we remember, we read that Vedanta Sutra 4th chapter, 4 padas, which means like 16. But here, towards the end, Prabhupada made it more simple. He said, first 2 chapters discuss with the relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As we read, Athato Brahma Jigyasa, means who is God, who is Supreme Personality of God. Because we don't have any idea who is Supreme Personality of God. So their Supreme Personality of God, and then who are we? So our first identity is like we are the spirit soul. But that is not enough. That's why Vedabhyash, he made 2 chapters on Sambandha Jnana. And if you remember Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in the initial Mangalacharan, there are last 3 slokas actually, Sambandha, Abhidaya and Prayojan. Deities and how to worship them, their mantras were mentioned there. So Sambandha Jnana means that we have a relationship. And that relationship is mainly, we are the servant of Krishna, Nitya Krishna Nityadas. So that's one important thing mentioned here. And the next part is, now we are servant, then how we are going to serve? Okay, we got our identity that we are the servant. Then how we are going to serve? Because we know that, like, if someone serves me, like if my wife serves me, but if she cooks the food which I don't like, then it's not going to be a good service. So that is the obidaya, how we are going to do that. And then by doing that, what are we going to gain that? That is the prayojan. And Prabhupada mentioned here that first 2 chapters of the Vedanta Sutra, you remember 4 chapters, 4 padas, but first 2 chapters only discussed about the knowledge of the relationship. And the second, third chapter, actually, how we do that, how we perform our duty, our service to the, that is obidaya. And the 4th chapter, by doing that, what we are going to gain, what's our goal. So that's what is mentioned here. Sorry, Prabhupada, so long.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. You covered the entire Vedanta Sutra in 2 minutes. Very well. See, that's basically the essence, right? Who am I? Who is God? What's the relationship? How do I get to that? How do I re-establish or rekindle that relationship? And what's goal? Prema Pumartho Mahan. That's basically Vedanta Sutta, the 4 chapters. Yes, Anita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I have a question basically. So you said 18 Puranas and 6 like each for goodness and passion and ignorance, like respectively. And then all 18. So how should we understand? Was the Bhagavatam to replace all the 18? If yes, then like how the people in mode of passion, goodness, or ignorance will be able to absorb that? How can they take it? Because earlier, if the previous version, like they had for everybody differently, so probably it was easy to know, okay, which 6 is meant for whom.
Yeah, that's a very thoughtful question. Now, if someone is in the mode of ignorance, are they also supposed to be reading Bhagavatam, right? Or how will it will help them, right? So I would, the answer is in the Bhagavatam itself. And Prabhupada quotes this verses multiple times. So we'll just go there. These are very important verses. No matter whatever condition a person may be in, if they take to the hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sushrushadhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nisevanat. By serving, what Wise Born said is, by serving the devotees who are completely free from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. So, in short, Vaishnava Seva leads to more desire or more affinity to hear the message of Vasudeva or Krishna Katha. Shrunvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantastiha Badrani Vidunoti Suhrit Satam. So Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Paramatma, the Super Soul in everyone's heart, the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses the desire for material enjoyment. This is the root cause of suffering, desire for material enjoyment. That's what keeps us in the lower modes, desire to enjoy selfishly. It cleanses from the devotee's heart who has developed the urge to hear his message. So the Krishna Katha is so pure. One could be in any mode, even the lowest Chandala will get benefit. And what will happen? Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. by regular attendance in the classes of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. Completely destroyed. No matter, what the past may be, no matter what their previous condition may be. I mean, look at Prabhupada's disciples in the beginning. What were their condition? Were they born in very high class Brahmanical background? They were indulged in all, wrong things, drugs, sex, rock and roll, illicit relationships, everything wrong, all the regulative principles they were breaking, passion and ignorance. But by loving service to Prabhupada and hearing Bhagavatam, all the Abhadra destroyed. And loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental song, is established. Is the power of Krishna Katha. Tada rajastamo bhava kama lobha dayaschaye cheta eter anavidhim sthitam sattve prasiddhati. See, sthitam sattve prasidati. Right? What will happen? When as soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's mode of passion and ignorance. That was your question. Passion and ignorance. What will happen? Tada rajas tama. Rajas or tamas. Arthat, rajagun or tamogun. What will happen? The effects of those, lust, desire, hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy. Sthita sattve prasidati. Srimad Bhagavatam is answering so nicely this point. Important verses for those who want to mark 1.2.16 to 19. Does that help, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Okay, any other quick points anyone wants to make from this? Sheetal Mataji, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in the purport it is mentioned that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declares that the Vedanta Sutra was compiled by Srila Vyasadeva. So it may be understood that it has come from the breathing of Sri Narayan. And while Vyasadeva was compiling this Vedanta Sutra, there were 7 other great saints or contemporaries who were engaged in similar works.
There you go.
Hare Krishna.
7 other sages are also mentioned. You like that point. Wonderful. It's coming from breathing of Vyasadeva, right? And with Vyasji compiled, breathing of Narayana.
Breathing of Narayan.
When Garuda fans, what the Vedic sounds come. In the movies also they show like those are made in the right way. So very nice. All these points are very, very nice. All of you shared. One other thing which we learned, yes, someone was making a
Hare
point.
Krishna Prabhuji. So,
Yes.
so in this, Mahaprabhu also explains how we have to go, what was the procedure. The procedure, like we have to go according to the Shastras, then giving examples, then the analogies, and then it comes about the Vedanta. That is the conclusion.
Yeah, these 5 parts, right? Are you referring to this? The 5 parts of 5 different elements or subject matters. Pratigya, Hetu, Udharan, Upanayan, and Nigama.
But I like the procedures also, Prabhu. As if he's talking to us how we should go step by step.
Yeah. This is basically one time I was doing a class for the kids. Basically, what is this? Even in scientific world, what do we say? First, there is a hypothesis, right?
Yeah.
Then there is experimentation, right? Then what comes? It's findings, observations, finding, and then finally there is conclusions.
Conclusion.
It's kind of very, very similar here, right? So bhakti is therefore Prabhupada says bhakti is spiritual science of self-realization. It's very scientific, right? One try it out, right? What is Sambandha Avidya Prayojan? Sambandha also is basically a hypothesis, right? What is Abhidya? You run the experiment. Sevanmukhi jivado, swayamev spurtiyada. It is experiential knowledge. Rajavidya Rajaguyam Pavitramudamuttamam Pavitramidamuttam Pratyakshavangamam. Pratyaksha, one can experience it. So Sukham, one will experience great joy. So, Sambandha Abhidya Prayojan. Hypothesis, experimentation, conclusion. It's very scientific. Same here, these 5 subjects are on the same lines. The Udharana, the Upanayana, the Pratigya. Very nice. What else?
Prabhu, I just want to comment a little bit on this Shoriraka Bhashya of Shankaracharya.
Yes.
Why Mahaprabhu rejected that? Shoriraka Bhashya, actually Shankaracharya, first theory he said that Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. Is this material world is false. But Vaishnavas, Gaudiya Vaishnavas especially, they say no, how it is possible? Anything comes from God is Satya. Because where the universes are coming from, they are coming from Karanadaksha Vishnu. So it is not false, but it is temporary. So that's the one difference. Then the second thing is Shoriraka Bhashya, they are saying that when Lord comes, he also has a material body. But what's the difference between us and Lord or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body and soul, they are same. Means all this, it is like Sat Chit Ananda. We are, soul is Sat Chit Ananda, which is minute, but our material body is perishable. It can be easily destroyed. So that's one thing in Shoriraka Bhashya, they are saying that. The second thing, they are also saying that when Lord comes, all the 3 gunas also affect the Lord. But it is not. We read in Bhagavad Gita so many times, Lord is saying, they are coming from me, but don't think that I am covered by them. They are within me, but I'm not affected by them. So, and the last part, they are saying that I am also God. So that's kind of like a gist, kind of like Shoriraka Bhashya. So that's why Mahaprabhu totally rejected that part.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for sharing that. I know we're a little over time. We started at 8:15, but we're still 10 minutes over. So I appreciate, but this, was a very packed up verse with a lot of details. But I think we did a good by everyone sharing something. We kind of we'll take this home, right? We may not remember every word, but we'll understand what's the essence which we covered. So we'll pause here and continue at a later point. Thank you so much for joining. Shri Caitanya Caritamrita ki jai, Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Samavita Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai, Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripas Chitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo and the Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare
Dhanwad
Krishna,
Pranam.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanwad. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
So much for
Hari Bol.